welcome to the Team 7 podcast. We are back and we are blessed with another guest among us tonight. His name is at Lance J. Asher. He wants his socials shouted out first thing. Before we can even talk about the episodes, go to his social media.
Yeah, hit me on all the socials.
So cool. All right.
Instagram.
Don't do it. Everybody
X,
else.
formerly known as Twitter.
Anybody. Anyway, we're here to talk about Naruto. And we're on episodes 296 through 302. Kind of a short batch. But, you know, just some more war arc stuff. Nothing too crazy. We had some emotional moments with Gaara and his father. But, yeah, let's get into it. So, let's first talk about we come out of this break of filler, right? And we're into this, and we're about to go into another break of filler. This is just what late Shippuden is. But we go into this like TV show. It's such a break from Naruto's world as we know it, and just a reminder that they're like, hey, and somewhere in the world, people are watching the nightly news, and their nightly news is the Ninja War. And it's I like how they play into it a little bit, but it's just a weird like fourth wall break.
It's a little campy compared to like what's usually going on in the show at this point, but I enjoy that.
I want to know who's following Naruto with a camera.
I want to see the behind the scenes.
Get that man a raise.
I think in that little like montage of war stuff that they were covering, which I think was like mostly the filler arcs, and then they threw in at the end like Sakura was doing all this stuff at the camp that we saw at the end of the last batch. But I have a note that says Sai sucked someone into his scroll, and that is terrifying. I don't know if y'all remember that, but somebody was it was a reanimation, so I guess it's not really them, but like he has the ability to just suck people into a scroll. That would be one of the worst ways to go.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of that.
I jotted down that they now have like TV and satellites. And then I remembered, this is like half of a filler episode. I finally pulled up the website that shows like which episodes are manga canon and anime canon. I didn't look ahead, but on this one I was like, this has to be like mixed or something. Why are we watching
I
this?
looked it up, and I think, doesn't it say it's like full? Like it doesn't even say mixed, or does it say
really?
Mixed?
Well, I mean, the whole Madara conversation about wanting Naruto to fight White Zetsu is pretty pivotal in his strategy.
Mixed. It's mixed, Asher.
Oh, okay.
No, I agree. No, I'm not saying the whole episode. I'm just talking about that like first little bit where it's got
a little recap.
The little recap, because that was actually one of my other points was do we believe as a group, Lance, you can answer this. Do we believe as a group that Naruto will talk no jutsu Madara? Because, and the reason I bring this up is because they flash back to that conversation where Naruto says, he even admits, he says, I know that Madara is different. He has no, like he's only evil, essentially. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was
no moral compass there.
Yeah. It was like whenever they were talking in the Land of Snow, like right before he went to the 5 Kage summit. So do we believe that Madara will, do we think one, Naruto would try it? And 2, do we think he'll be successful?
I think he would definitely try it. I also think who cares? Like Madara has given me no reason to care about him outside of he needs to be defeated, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like Gaara, there's all this backstory, and it's like, oh, he needs it. Before he was talk no jutsu, you know?
Well, even
so
Pain,
if we
or Nagato, I mean.
Yeah, I mean that was like late in the game, I guess, but
yeah,
it was there. So I think that could happen with Madara. Yeah. But at the moment, who cares?
I think that it's going to be a little bit of both. I think that he's gonna fight Madara, and then they're gonna talk, and he's gonna try to be like, "Listen, chill the beans, bro. This world ain't yours. It's all of ours."
And then they're gonna go back line, "Chill the beans."
Yeah, and then they're gonna go back to fighting, and I don't think it's gonna be settled with a conversation.
Sorry. I love that. I wish I could say literally anything at all.
So, we see Naruto and Bee. They are running into the war, which whenever Lance and I were watching this to begin with, felt, and I may have brought this up before, but it felt like Naruto and Bee, or I had forgotten, I guess. It felt like they were still very far away, like on the island, like the Turtle Island felt very far away. And then like once they got to land and were dealing with the right Kage, it was like, how are they there so fast? I didn't really understand that. And then they're like here at the battle. Watching it, the second time and beyond, I remember, or I'm reminded, I guess, that they bring that Turtle Island like into the Cloud Village right behind headquarters. So it's there. It's like literally there. So they don't have to travel very far at all. But it feels weird that they're like so close, but they felt like they were worlds away. The entire reason I bring that up is Naruto and Bee are going. They deploy, and then Naruto sends out his mini shadow clones, and then we're just introduced to all these Rasengan variants that we've just never seen before. And we just have to be okay with it, which, I mean, they're cool, but it's just like, and now he does this and whatever, because he's got the Nine Tails mode, and it just like flying through abilities where it felt like, and it was this way in the beginning of the series, and even in through like maybe the first quarter of Shippuden, every single thing that he learned was like its own mini arc almost. Because it just took time to learn it. Now we're getting like these leaps and bounds of progress. And we just have to be like, oh, okay, he knows how to do it now. No training. Fine. That's part of it. But
right. Well, sorry. Right. No, go ahead. Well, for me, because I've been cheating on Naruto with Luffy quite a lot lately. That happens with a couple characters, like between episodes like 200 and 300, which is ridiculous to say out loud. But there's like one conversation, and then two characters all of a sudden are like, God, what is the word? Like they can actually fight now, kind of. That's not like a huge spoiler. It's hopefully a relief to anyone who's watching and is like, what's going to happen with these people who are kind of useless in fights. But yeah, it really was like all of a sudden, oh, he can do like all these different things. To me, it kind of seemed like he just conjured those up like in the moment. Yeah. And he could do them because he now has this new chakra.
Just like freedom and range and motion almost. Yeah. I agree. Well, so I mentioned earlier Gaara and his father. So that little moment, that whole episode, really good. Papa? He got some nice therapy in the middle of war. Like, got some big closure with his dad, what I wouldn't give. Anyways, so baby Gaara, born with a full head of red hair, is absolutely wild. Almost as wild as my comment.
That's such a good joke.
Oh, dude. Well, okay, last thing before I let y'all talk. So, Gaara, do you guys want to take a guess? Gaara at this episode talking with his dad, he references how he died and everything. And I was like, okay, so that's been a while even for us. That's been like probably 10 months, maybe a little less, 9 months since we watched that. And that feels like a while. But I went and looked and episode Gaara dies. Wow, look at my light. Gaara dies in episode 17, which was released on June 7th, What year do you guys think that was?
20. Oh, wait.
When Gaara died.
2006.
Zach, you want to guess?
2008.
Power it up. Lance, do you want to tell him the truth?
I don't know for sure. I was going to say maybe 2009.
It was 2007.
Oh,
whenever it was released. Now, I believe that it was 2009 in the English air date, but don't quote me on that. I'm just looking
no,
at
I'll take the dub on that.
I don't know, though.
I'll quote you on it.
You need to look that up yourself.
I'm pretty sure I heard 2009.
Cool. So you guys, let's take a guess now at the episode that Gaara and his father talk. That was released on January 24th of what year?
Ooh, when did y'all graduate?
2012.
Oh, gosh.
High school?
Yeah.
2014.
I was going to say 2014.
Lancy?
I'm going to go 2012.
2013.
Wow.
So it was like from 7 to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 6 years, or like 5.5-ish, a little bit more, from Gaara dying to Gaara referencing it. That's a long ass time.
A long time.
If you don't have that callback, like you don't, I mean, of course you remember, but like you don't remember in that detail.
Sure.
Like on your first watch through, on like first air date, like watching week to week, like I feel like that would be a necessity. And I think that, and I'm going to bring this up later, and I think 301, I have another thing to talk about, like anime dynamics that are really just different. They're kind of in its own little category because a lot of media doesn't cover like one story for this long.
True.
So you get some what's the word I'm looking for? Like exceptions.
Payout?
No, I was just like you kind of get away with stuff. Like whenever you're doing it this long, like you can get away with some stuff. But
well, also like that was last year that we watched it, me and Zach at least. Like I forgot. I didn't forget, but if you had asked me, I could have been like, oh yeah, this is kind of what happened. But to bring all that back is really cool. It was a good, again, like payout, it felt like.
Yeah. And a lot of like context of what was happening, because I like to believe, well, I guess we'll never know, but I like to believe that story of Gaara's background was still in Kishimoto's mind, like all the way back in OG when we met his siblings and like that dynamic. And maybe it wasn't written until like the beginning of Shippuden or even later than that, but it does play in perfectly, I believe, to how we watched Gaara develop with his siblings. They moved so much from like a distaste to honestly admiration. I think that Kabuto adores his little brother, and I think Tamari like has so much respect for him. And
I'm sorry, Konkoro?
What did I say?
You say Kabuto. I was
so
not
sorry.
going to let you get away with it.
I'm so sorry, Konkoro.
I was going to let it go a little longer, but like it threw me for a second because I was like, wait, did he just say Kabuto?
Sorry.
It's so fresh on my mind because one of you compared me to Kabuto earlier, and I'm still not okay about that. Yeah, thanks a lot, Zach.
You're welcome.
Zach.
I'm about to evolve.
What did y'all think, though? Let's talk about Gaara a little bit. I mean, he's had some of the most development in the entire show.
Amazing.
Actually, probably the most. Like, if you think about like his start to end point, if you call the end point even now, I feel like that's still probably the most development.
He's straight up bloodthirsty villain.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I put at one point, like, it all makes sense now, Gaara saying he needs to validate his existence. Because at the time, I was like, that felt like kind of a cop-out for I want to murder people.
Yeah,
but
it like felt
now,
like... Yeah, that's a great point.
with all the backstory and his uncle especially just succumbing to like obeying the Kage's orders to a horrible fault. It's like, I mean, what else could we have thought up to this point? He's just like a loyal, Black Ops member. Crazy.
Yeah, it really is. But Z, were you about to say something?
Sure. I mean, I definitely feel like what you were saying earlier, like the closure is the biggest theme that I got out of this scenario with his father. I mean, it goes back to what I was talking about the last 2 episodes of the reason for bringing back all these vessels as reanimated, people. And like, again, if that didn't happen, we didn't get this moment. And I'm thankful that we did get the moment. Like, it's, it's because I love Gaara so much now after seeing the development and seeing the, what's the word? The, redemption of his, entire existence.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool to see like he get closure, but also his father like see through everything. His goal, like as screwed up as it was, like his son is able to like function properly in the world. Yeah. And like that's what he was trying to get through those tests in that twisted way of like, is my son going to destroy the village or help it? And now he's leading the entire war as a commander. It's just cool to see.
I mean, I would argue that Gaara wouldn't even necessarily call it redemption as much as validation.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a joke. You guys are like,
no, that's great.
It was a joke. And they're like, yeah, good point. Yeah, solid. I'm glad you're here, Lance. Laugh at them. Laugh.
That's a really good point. No, you're right.
I hate this. Can't even be sarcastic without everybody being like,
What is sarcasm, really?
Yeah, shallow and pedantic.
I think for his self, it's validation.
Oh, absolutely.
I think for the people that are looking into his story,
I really
it's
thought
redemption
that's what you meant.
It's redemption from a bad path to a leader of the good guys scenario.
Yeah. No, what I said is true and applies, I guess. I was just trying to be stupid because Gaara was so bent on being like, I need to validate my existence. That now that he's here, I would be like, well, now he'd probably go with validation. Like, just to be an ass. But I don't, explaining the joke makes it hilarious. Every single time. I'm going to explain
Logan,
every joke.
What you meant for evil, the Lord meant for good.
Ha! Come on now.
Even here.
Won't he do it?
Won't he? I do think that's an interesting point you made, Logan, about how Gaara has probably the most like character development besides Naruto at this point.
I would say even more.
I immediately started thinking about
I say more because like Naruto's still Naruto. Like Naruto's had a lot to happen. He's grown, but Naruto's like character development is not like he's still himself. Like Naruto has been Naruto from the beginning, and now he's just older and a little bit more experienced and knowledgeable. Gaara, on the other hand, is a completely different person.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know. I think it's probably semantics at that point, but it is interesting that like of all the characters, of all of the main characters, though, like even the ones that we all like love, Gaara has received the most like attention to detail in this like insane like redemptive or whatever we want to call it kind of story. Like it's a really cool payoff that it's not really a spoiler. There's no way you could get that with every character.
Yeah.
And of all the ones that it comes through, like that's one heck of a writing thread from beginning to end.
Are you telling me we don't get the same treatment for Tintin?
Well, we do. I just don't. Gosh, I hate to tell you this, but we do.
Yeah, no, not a lot of love for Tintin, but you will find out more about Tauntaun's backstory.
Probably more so than Tintin.
Kishimoto is more concerned with Tauntaun than Tintin.
We all should be.
The last time that we get something cool from Tintin is when she has a Gatling gun out of her scroll. That's the last time.
I did think it was funny, though, at the end of this batch, she's like walking around the village like, where'd they put that fan? I was really good with that thing. And it was like, keep looking, honey. Stay out of my frames. I don't want to watch you.
It was really funny that it wore her out so much to like wave this fan around too. Like I get that it's a ninja tool. It's probably like full of chakra or takes chakra to use or whatever you want to say. But it was just funny to go from like
she's a glutton for punishment, dude.
Still hanging on. Way to go, Kakashi.
There he is. He's focusing his chakra.
Sure
so
is.
after baby Gaara is born and he's got a full head of hair and no eyebrows. Then we move on to Itachi and Nagato just wandering throughout the forest. And we got I want you guys to know that the development with Itachi and Shisui is part of the development when I say or said things like before we started of like, hey, the payoff that you get in this show is incredibly long-winded, but like when it does come, it's like holy shit.
Yeah.
And that moment, that whole story is definitely a part of that. And I'd already told them this, Lance, but later in the show we get more Itachi just like story. Remember I told you guys that we get that batch near the end?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was like waiting for the confirmation that I didn't ruin it. But we get even more. We get more into that. And it is that one night has just so much to do with this show.
It really is one of the best pieces of plot, I think, in all of Naruto Shippuden. It's just it's just so
really
good.
Tough to like stand against it for like most shows.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I mean that had to be a bigger part in Kishimoto's mind, right?
It has to be.
I mean the
like
foresight
from the beginning
of Shisui is like insane.
Yeah.
That was such a throwaway name. And then to hear what he like contained, like his eyes, and then like knowing what was going to happen based on the fact that like this is a clan of people that like will murder each other for each other's eyes because there's so much power to be gained.
Yeah.
Just nuts. And like there's no alternative here. So we just gotta figure something out.
And the thing is, like, Shisui's abilities would have broken the world. Like if he was strong enough to ward everybody off and just like keep himself and be like fine, or protected or not like lusted after by his own clan members, like that enough, like he would have been just so hard to deal with. And the fact that he was a good guy is like such a blessing to people that they don't realize they had to fight, because he would have been just incredibly hard to deal with. But and Itachi too. I mean, like you really like think he didn't ever, to my knowledge, he didn't ever really like hurt anybody in the village besides his own clan, like that he had to.
Yeah, I mean, big murder there. He kind of got it all out of his system.
So he had the one night. He had the one off night. You can't murder a family and act like it's a big deal. Oh my god. Yeah, but the point is, like, you got like some, I would say the Leaf is very lucky to have had Itachi and Shisui be on their team, because if they did not, they would have, I think, could have probably given the entire village at least a run. Having the rest of the Uchiha behind them, they could have that coup d'etat would have absolutely been successful.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I love the most about this like insight in these scenes is like Itachi almost feels more like a big brother to Naruto than he does to Sasuke.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Like him telling him just like calm down and analyze it. Like take a
He's like,
moment, take a breath, figure it out. There's always a weakness, you know. It's like heck yeah, this is what I'm hoping for in like a mentor. Like Bee's great. Don't get me wrong. But like those types of moments are I feel like going to last for a while for Naruto. I think he's gonna have callbacks to that moment is how important that was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also, Bee is a crazy person. He's
awesome.
He's a little nuts.
I think he's a lot nuts. He's so funny, man.
I thought you were about to defend him. Like, no, he's not that crazy.
I will. I think he's just as crazy as you're describing. I don't think it's a problem at all.
No, absolutely.
I want to go back in time and take my initial thoughts away because he has grown so much on me.
That's what this show does, man. Remember how you all felt about Sai, and now you're all like, yeah, he's part of Team 7, no problem.
Yeah.
Like, it just happens. It happens.
I still hated that arc. I was just like,
that arc is bad.
It's not even like bored. Like, I guess I was kind of bored.
It drags.
Yeah.
Beginning of Shippuden definitely drags. That's interesting to know that it drags even on not a rewatch. Like first watch through, it still drags.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you guys before all that happened with Shisui and Itachi, or we found that out. That crow with Shisui's eye comes out of Naruto. Did you guys remember that? Did you guys remember like, oh yeah, I forgot that was in there, and like remember, or was it like, how in the world is this happening until you saw the flashback?
I did remember, but it definitely, that part struck me as like, there has to be something else going on here, and then like very quickly fell out of my brain.
Yeah.
Similar. I thought he was in a different dimension, similar to previous Mangekyo possessions.
Yes. Oh, yeah, like under Genjutsu.
Yeah, I thought it was like a visual thing, and like he was like in this other realm. But as soon as I saw the planting of said crow, I was like,
oh,
yeah. That's how I felt. It was crazy. I'd forgotten completely. And like by the time, I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure I was still watching close enough that like it had been fairly recent for me to have seen that episode.
Yeah.
And then by the time I got to this, it had already completely left my mind because there's just so much content.
Absolutely.
And that's another point to my point. If you don't have the flashbacks, the show becomes a lot harder. And the manga basically doesn't. I mean, it'll have some flashbacks if it's like super long ago, but it doesn't have them as often as the anime.
There's like no time for that in manga, right?
It really isn't, because they are doing it weekly, and so you only get if you're in Shonen Jump Weekly, you only have a certain amount of space to like tell your story each week. Unless you're, I mean, I'm sure that you get some leeway if you're like One Piece or Naruto or whatever, but still, like they're not going to waste space on that whenever they could tell. The story.
That's what I was thinking too. Like it would be a waste of space or a use of space that like, okay, we don't want to take up more time retelling the story at this point. Also,
but the anime, they'll do that all day for money.
I wish that in the anime there would be a flashback to any time I need like a super cut of whenever Genjutsu is happening, specifically the Mangekyo stuff, and just a little thing at the top of the screen, like you're in the Genjutsu now you're out of it. You're like 2 layers incepted. Now, whatever.
That would be great.
I think the flashbacks though, like even I'm kind of skipping ahead in this batch alone, but like it makes more sense in the Gaara and the second Mizukage fight where he turns the steam imp into gold. and he explains later in the same episode, this is what I did, this is how it happened. But when you separate the crow and Naruto by just arc after arc,
hundreds, yeah,
it's like it blows your mind. But it's a similar concept as this is what I did to get this thing to be this way, and that's how I did it.
Yeah.
But even then, it required a flashback. Like, dude, don't you remember when I did this?
Well, and I'll go ahead and bring this up now from episode 300. Or actually at the beginning of 302, the anime's dialogue, this is like the perfect example of like what is actually happening in the anime world and what we are seeing. Because everybody will like, and I actually have a note where Naruto and Itachi and Bee are flying up to like the planetary devastation from Nagato. They're floating up to that for forever. Like they're talking for forever. And you're seeing other rocks just like floating up there like it's no problem. And it's like, okay, whatever, fine. But then you see at the beginning of 302, you see the second to Kage? The old guy?
Yeah.
Or is that third?
No, he's the second.
Second? And then Mu is
second
first?
Mizukage.
Doesn't matter. I'm talking about the stone.
The old rock guy.
Like the fence
Onoki.
Onoki, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if he's what his title is, but that guy, he, whenever we first see it in 300, he drops down on that clam, and then we hear dialogue, like we see the two of them talk, and then he's like, and no, I got it, or whatever. He doesn't say that, but he turns on another jutsu, like the heavy boulder, and then he breaks the clam. Boom. So that takes like 30 seconds. But at the beginning of 302, when they retell that part, all that dialogue's cut out. So what you see is him come down, he'll land on it, stop for a second, and then he'll go through, because that's when he activates the jutsu. And I think that that's like the perfect example. If you can't like accept that when you're watching the dialogue that you're kind of suspending time just so you can understand what's happening more, then anime is just like really not going to work for you, because what is happening is that, but you basically don't really see the drop, no dialogue, and then boom, you only see the like drop dialogue, boom, more dialogue, more dialogue, more dialogue. And I think that can be a deal breaker for a lot of people for whatever reason.
There's a lot of like expository dialogue in anime, just a ton of it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think I brought this up before. It's similar to Shakespeare. Like that's a soliloquy of like, I'm expressing what's going on in my head, but you're going to listen to everything that's going on that was probably like a 2-second thought.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's how the brain works. Like you fly through thoughts so quickly because you're not having to go through every single word because it's a thought. But when you want to convey that, you have to go word by word. It's, and now we're talking about stories. We should go to a library and tell about stories.
These are
words.
You
guys want to do that with me?
I would love to. If that means I get to come to the beach.
Come on, brother.
True.
So
beach books, I'm sorry, keep going.
No, keep going. Beach books, bro. I want to hear about beach books.
Yeah, please.
Beach books.
Beach books I just feel like they hit harder than mountain books.
I'm reading The Will of the Many right now. It's very good.
I love that.
And I do get large chunks done on the beach as opposed to like before bed or whatever.
Right.
Hey, it's a Naruto podcast. No, it doesn't matter. I've been scrolling through a couple past notes looking for something, and this has nothing to do with this patch at all. But in episode 264, Secrets of the Reanimation Jutsu, I did make a note here that the second Hokage developed reanimation. Like that's where we get that kind of laid out in a sentence. And then Tobirama.
That's the second
person's name?
Yes, Tobirama.
That's the second
Toby?
Hokage.
No.
Is that why he's Toby?
It is not.
I think it is. I think he's part Toby and part somebody else. Sorry, I was looking for the third Mizukage and all that stuff.
You think that Madara? You think that Madara is part Toby?
I think he's fused a few different people together, and Toby is the one that Zetsu's familiar with. So Zetsu is like, he calls him Toby all the time. Still, I can't think of any other explanation here.
No, I think that's valid. Probably how it works.
And that is one thing that has stayed on my mind for a lot of episodes for some reason.
Well, did you find your other note that you were talking about before I move us? It happens. So
Toby Rama sounds like a 90s toy commercial.
Very much so.
Yeah, it does. It's like you play with your fast macho cars. Toby Rama.
Zach, was that a big sigh?
No.
No. No, what would
it was not. Do not say that. No.
So I want to talk about this. Shut up. Zach brought up, he said, y'all hear that? My dog is barking, I think. He said that Itachi said every jutsu has a weakness to Naruto. He said it a couple times.
Yeah.
What do you guys think the weakness will be to the reanimation jutsu?
Susan, but used for good.
Susan, but used for good. Okay. By the way, Susano is Susan.
I got that.
I think the weakness is interesting. I'm trying to think of what I think about this.
I think Orochimaru is going to come back, and he's going to say, I see the error of all my ways, and he's going to undo it somehow.
I mean,
no.
In context for Itachi, like, I need clarity, and maybe this clarity comes later, but he is no longer reanimated, correct?
Who?
Itachi?
No, he's reanimated. He's just not, he's in control of his own body.
So he broke free from the tethering of Kabuto, but it's still not Itachi in the flesh.
As long as that jutsu is going, or he is sealed away, or he does a Sasori. Yeah, Sasori just kind of let his soul go.
So if Kabuto's defeated, Itachi's gone.
They said that defeating the caster of the reanimation jutsu won't undo it. Wow. And that's why they say there's no weakness to it. And that's why I'm asking.
But then, based on what Itachi is saying, there has to be some weakness.
There
is a weakness to everything.
Yeah.
I mean, they have kind of talked no jutsu their way out of a lot. I mean, most of the people who are reanimated don't want to be there, or they're not enjoying it. So it's like maybe there is some talk no jutsu to it, but that seems too simple.
It does.
Maybe we've already kind of seen it.
It feels like this problem shouldn't be talk no jutsu. Like that would feel like a cop out.
Yes.
So here's just based on evidence alone. Everybody is either in two camps except for Itachi. I don't want to be controlled, or let me do what I was meant to do before I died.
Yeah.
Itachi doesn't want to be controlled, but he did something about it. I don't know if everyone has that ability. Obviously, that's a pretty rare thing to plant a crow in everybody else. And I don't know if that's the exact reason why he did it, but
he didn't plan it for that reason. He planned it for Naruto to use it against Sasuke. It would have disabled him.
But he had a will to get out of the grasp of Kabuto. It wasn't like, dang, I don't want to be like, screw this guy. It was like, no, you're not controlling me. So maybe it's a willpower thing. They got to convince people like, hey, if you don't want to be controlled, then get rid of it.
Get better. Be better than you were a minute ago.
But not even that, because like the third Raikage didn't want to be controlled. And I feel like he's got a pretty strong will. But at one point in the fight, like he switched his eyes and he got taken over fully by Kabuto.
Yeah.
So it's not like as simple as just being like, nope, not going to do that to me, dude. I know there's like something else that's got to be the thing, but that's my theory. I don't know.
It's like within the Captain Planet universe, like heart is the fifth kind of key to summoning Captain Planet. It seems like it's got to be heart. Like it's not a chakra thing. It's not an actual like jutsu as we know it.
So you're back on Talk No Jutsu then?
It's the will of fire. So yeah, I'm just back to Talk No Jutsu, and I'm talking in no jutsu circles now.
Maybe it's all about love, man.
Hey, that's what I'm saying, and you're making a mockery of it, and that's fine because we're still getting the point across.
No.
What is associated with love, Lance? Is it a heart normally? Yeah, that's a mockery if I've ever heard one.
Logan?
All I want to talk about is why did Itachi have to burn the whole bird? Like, burn Shisui's eye. Like, you don't have to burn the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I mean, if you're able to kill your own planets, if you're able to kill your own parents, you're able to...
If you're able to kill your own planets, then you can do just about anything you say your mind to.
When I was getting to that point here, I was literally about to say this.
Oh my gosh.
No, but for real. Yeah, I don't. That was the least of my worries. Like, this dude killed his entire clan.
Right. Yeah, again, what about that? I don't
get
it.
Beans,
he had an off night.
One bad night. Some bad ramen.
Bad night. Whatever.
Yeah, he had some bad
ramen. So Naruto and Itachi and Bee seal Nagato, and then they head off for the other battlefields. Bee's gone off to pee off a cliff, and then
whoa,
hold on,
don't just glaze over that. That's the second one in like a matter of episodes. What are they doing to us?
Second P in like 20 episodes, but don't forget the montage.
This one,
montage,
the friend montage. I was getting back to that.
Sai, Yamato, Guy, Neji,
everybody,
Tenten, Lee, Kiba, Akamaru, Hinata, Shino, Shikamaru, Choji, Ino, Tsunade, Shizune and Tauntaun, Konohamaru, and Iruka. Wait, what did I say? Shizune,
bro.
Shizune.
She got that Shizune Uni Boony, dude.
I quit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm so happy you brought that up. I have in caps just friend montage.
Yeah, it felt like a 90s theme song for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem is.
Oh, there's no problem.
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
I love how we all bobbed our heads but didn't sing the second line. We all were like, somebody else will sing it, but I'll keep dancing. And then it was just all of us bobbing.
Oh my
god. So Naruto
back to the P.
The P. We'll go to the P. We'll talk about the P. Let's talk about the P.
No, like the first time they did it with the 2 streams, it was like, this could be a fountain.
But you knew it was yellow, bro. Like,
not in the first one, a couple episodes back.
Oh, that one did
But this one was glistening with like golden hour, golden shower vibes. Like it was.
Dude, what's the problem here? Like, I don't know what we're talking about.
Dude, it was at sunset. It was at sunset. It was like so uncomfortable. It was so uncomfortable.
Just hanging a little brain.
Even the octopus was like, "You're taking forever.
Hurry it up."
The octopus has to be there watching all of it. Like he has to. He doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
How unfortunate.
Think about like the Ninetales or any Jinchuriki. Like they've got to be there for all of it.
Their whole life.
Every sexual partner.
Every single
night of lovemaking, consensual, is a threesome. for a ginger.
Dang.
If you think about it, though, you really think about it.
I've clearly really thought about it.
Every single one is a consensual sexual encounter, but not it is a non-consensual threesome for the person that's not Naruto or Ninetales.
No. So what happens in the next episode?
Lance, this is our podcast and we like to talk about Naruto sex, okay?
One thing that doesn't happen in any episode is any kind of
I love how like no one like people change outfits like twice every 16 years in this show, but they do make sure to stop and let you know that they do urinate, in fact.
Hey, they still gotta pee.
Right.
But they've got that same outfit on lock, dude.
It's so bizarre.
Hey, I'm not gonna live in this world pretending that there's just like Barbie and Ken doll just smooth down there.
I love that.
Not when there's pee happening.
Lance said, forget it. No, he said once every 16 years. And that's how long it took for Naruto to switch clothes. I felt like that was an intentional number.
Sakura has that one other random outfit. There's no rhyme or reason to like why she's wearing that as opposed to the other thing.
That trash can?
What I'm talking about? It's like a sweater.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the trash can she wears.
Let's talk about Wispy Whiskers and Shorty Gramps.
Okay, we'll talk about Whiskey Whispers and Shorty Gramps right after we talk about the third Raikage. Actually, it wasn't even what I was trying to talk about in the beginning. They all split. B goes to pee off a cliff, and we got into a tangent about that because I'd never met somebody that loves golden showers more than Zach. But Tamari, she's sitting there on the battlefield going, there isn't a stronger wind style user than me. And then Naruto shows up and goes, I can do it. And then he doesn't do it.
Mm-mm.
It's just a cringe moment.
Yeah.
Bad vibes.
I put in the middle of episode 301 Paradox. I only made 5 lines of notes on here. Nothing has happened this entire episode.
Yeah.
Why didn't we skip all of
for
them?
Sure.
Yeah, you get those occasionally.
Yeah, and then like you've got like the third Raikage's about to bust through this like wall, this rubber wall or whatever. And this one guy who clearly has dealt with him before is like, get back. And these other guys are like, now's the time for revenge. And everybody's like, yeah. And I'm like, why are we not listening to commands anymore? Like, what is it that they're like, that's just so stupid and plot convenience, obviously. It's just to show his strength, but it is quite annoying.
I like the random ninjas getting hit and they're falling, and then the other ones are like, are you okay? I don't know why. That little detail really gets me.
So concerned.
Are you okay?
Nah, dude. Not at all. I may never see my family again.
Yeah. Did you see that guy? He has lightning around his entire body.
Like,
I'm probably going to die here.
I'm going to die right now.
I just met a steam imp. I will not live to tell anyone about this.
Have you ever seen a mummy turn invisible, bro? Like, I'm out of here right now.
I would literally, I'd be like, man, I patrol the guard gate. Like, I don't do anything.
Yeah.
I am not meant to be here. Gaara got me all pumped up, and now I'm finding myself fighting a literal Kage from the dead.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna die.
Gaara got me all riled up. I didn't know what I signed up for. Oh, I love it.
I want one episode with the throwaway ninja who have only done like D and E and F missions their entire lives. Like, that was an awesome talk from Gar, and then we got F'd.
Oh yes, that would be great. That would be awesome, like filler content where it was just like 2 guys that were just like, I'm so ready.
Barely
for this.
Survived.
Yeah, and then they see this and they're like, they find their way out of it. I think it'd make good content. content, but I'm sure there's some fan fiction out there. Asher, time to go on.
I did look up some fan fiction the first watch through before we were doing a podcast, and I saw some things. I really did.
I really did. We all believe you. So take us through episode 302. Asher, what do you want to talk about from there?
Terror, the Steam Imp.
I definitely gave off Heath Ledger Joker vibes.
I hated every bit of this. I hate
it. It really feels filler. Like it's shitty. Like it really is.
The Mizukage was kind of the best part. Right.
This is really a nice hidey hole.
Kind of the best part.
Yeah.
Because he's like sort of a funny archetype of a character to be in something like Naruto, like not what I was expecting at all.
Yeah.
I kind of felt the same about the current Raikage as well. Like this character just doesn't seem to fit. But then we've got like a whole village or whatever by Kakashi.
Right.
I did make a note that I said the people fighting the second Mizukage under his own instruction would be great in the Anbu Black Ops.
And then by the end, he's like, I'm not going to help you all anymore because if this is what you can accomplish with my help, like you're done for. You're finished.
He has a point though. When he said that, I was like, absolutely. Go for it, bro. Don't help him.
Don't help
Make him figure it out.
Yeah, I don't think this is like a spoiler or anything. There are definitely more interesting like moments on this battlefield ahead.
Sure,
it's not one of the better ones.
This is just a lull. It's just it's just more. It's like I wouldn't even call it fluff. Like it is a part of the like pyramid. It just is just a structural part with no flair.
Yeah.
It's just and here it like it really like we see the stuff with Gaara like is really nice, but like it was an episode. And then the stuff with Nagato and Itachi again, like that's like an episode and a half maybe. Mm-hmm. And then we spend like several episodes through this entire batch where we're kind of got Gaara and Onoki dealing with the other Kage that are there, and then the other like portion of the I want to call it squad, but it's not a unit, like 2 or whatever, that like the one with Tamari. And that's kind of it. Like, it's just like boring, like, and now they're fighting and they fight this guy and this is what he did. And because like all these people we've never met before, we're just getting like a bunch of context and we see him for an episode, then we move on. So
that's the only redeeming part to me was like Gaara and Onoki have formed a bond. That's cool.
Yeah. And they were the furthest apart when they first met.
But then we get to the end. We don't
complete mutual respect. Like in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, like when it happened originally, when Naruto shows up to help, when we see Mu at the end versus when he was sealed originally, like to me, it's one of those hidden things. Like if you don't like pay attention, then you think, oh, another one down. Like he literally said, none of them, I'll back up before I say what I was going to say. None of them want to hurt them.
Yeah.
In this group of 4.
Right.
Why would he like lie to them when he's saying, don't let your guard down? Like he gets cut off, but like they just act like, oh, it's fine. Why wouldn't they like follow through and make sure it's done?
I guess they thought it was done. I mean,
but that's what I'm saying is like the last thing, like instead of being like, thank you guys, you did well. It's like, don't let your guard down. Like,
yeah.
And I guess that could
like,
be,
don't let your guard down. I'm still, and then something.
And it's like, yeah. And the I'm still is, even if it was cut off, like that's not good enough for me to be like, oh, he's done.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it was just,
plot convenience.
Yeah, absolutely plot convenience. It's annoying.
Yeah.
There's so much of it through here. There's just, and a lot of people, that's like a lot of people's gripes with the show is that there's some holes with reanimation. There's some holes in the story in general that people take issue with. But I personally, and Lance, maybe you can speak up if there's something else that we have covered so far that you've got an issue with. But through the entire show, there's nothing that happens up until Boruto. Boruto I got some big issues with, but in Shippuden and Naruto OG, like the holes that I've been presented with aren't enough for me to be like, I hate this show, or it's a bad show, or bad storytelling. Like I think you do not have products like One Piece where there's basically no holes because Oda is a genius. Like I don't even understand how he doesn't have holes with that much like time, but it's just been regarded as like less plot convenient and less hole filled than Naruto is, just because they're both really long running shows. But I think that's kind of it feels very small, and it gets blown way out of proportion as an issue.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I say that to say, Zach, like it is not alone in being an annoying part of the show, and it's just kind of like,
you
just have to eat it.
I was just kind of like staring at like, duh.
Yeah, like why?
I
like,
saw that when they said it the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that brings us to the end of the batch. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about?
I can't think of a worse ending to this batch. It was great, but there were obviously we've talked about a lot of parts we didn't enjoy. Can't think of a worse ending than, hey, the Sound Ninja are coming back now.
Well, let me go ahead and change some things for you. So this batch was 296 through 302, and the next batch is 321 through 328. So we've got a fair amount of filler, and that Sound Ninja coming back is in that filler.
Yes.
So we won't actually get to see them. So if you want to watch more, if you're watching the podcast or anybody here with me now, if you want to watch more of like the war arc of encountering old people like that we've seen in the show in the past that have died or something, or get more backstory on some characters or whatever, there's some stuff that they go back to OG Naruto for. There's some stuff back in the village, I believe, I think with Konohamaru. But yeah, so that's what's happening in this batch, or in this like filler batch in between. There's nothing in there that I think that we should watch unless you just want more content. But there's just nothing worth it because none of it is canon. It's all just stuff, filler. So so the next batch, 321 through 328, 8 episodes. 8 episodes, and pretty small batches coming up. We're in this like weird middle portion where we've got like 20 episodes that are not filler, and then we've got like 15 episodes that are filler, and then we've got 20 episodes that are filler, then skip a few. So I mean, it's just littered throughout. So the batches, we're gonna be in this weird like 8 one week, 13 the next week, and that's kind of how it is anyways. But it's really, really patchy through here. Just trying to, So, but I think we're like 3 podcasts, like 2, and then on the third, we're 3 podcast episodes away from the Kakashi Anbu Black Ops arc. So that'll be cool.
Wait, is that
a filler arc? It is a filler arc,
okay.
But we're gonna do it. Just because we all love Kakashi, and I think it's worth it. So
it's cool. It's fun.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, if there is nothing else, then I guess we will. I know you guys are gonna want to do cards, but
I'm sorry. Do you not have cards?
I don't, dude. They're over there, and I don't want to go get them.
Oh my goodness!
Fine.
No, it's fine.
I came back when y'all were talking about Shizuzai earlier, and I feel like I probably missed like the actual conversation, but it is one of the coolest things that happened in the entire series, and I freaking love it.
It really is just so cool. I hate that. I really should have waited to bring that up, but I didn't know how long you'd be gone.
No. So, yeah, you're good. You're good.
It really is though. I remember that, like, learning that information with you and being like dumbfounded to the point that I was like, I need to watch again because I feel so twisted and like
so good.
My understanding of that night shifts throughout the entire series because it's like you're told one thing and then you get a little bit more information, a little bit more information, a little bit more information, and then they're like, and it's all not what you thought, and then I'll leave the rest out because that's where we're at right now. But
I love
it. Yeah. So on another pack with Sage Mode Naruto, Bee, Sasuke, and Madara.
Oh, I thought that was the card. I was like, what a crazy card.
Dude, that would be sick. All right. So we got Choji from OG.
OG Choji.
OG Saucy. What's his name?
Oh. Gamabunta.
No, that's not Gamabunta.
Is it not?
No.
Gamakichi?
Yeah, Gamatetsu. And Rock Lee. And then Yamato. Nice. Pretty lame pack, honestly.
Yamato.
I need to count and see like how many I've got left and like what I can open. But I know that I can open 2 this week if you guys want to open another.
Send it. Why not?
All right. Tamari, the greatest wind style user we know. Neji. OG Neji. I think that's OG.
That's OG Shino.
OG Shino?
What's his last name, Lance?
Aburame.
Oh, thank you.
Crazy.
OG Naruto. Lots of OG cards in this. And then Sasuke. Let me see if I can get that to focus. That's a
cool one.
It's focused.
Is it?
It's always focused in the finished product.
Oh, is it really?
No matter where you put it.
Really? That's so interesting. There we go.
Like,
that's focused on my end.
That's sick.
I did like making you think for a while that you needed to get it to focus.
On my end, it's still like I'm blurry right now.
Yeah. I mean, it is for me too, but like it just doesn't do that.
Weird.
Homies don't play like that.
Man, we had such a cool Minato pull at the end of the last box. That was so cool. We need to...
That was a cool card.
It's true.
Yeah. All right, well, next batch, 321 through 328. Quick 8-episode batch. We'll see you there.
See you there.
Thanks for having me, boys.